Welcome, everybody, to the NFL Presidential Address Part 2. We're going to look at 4 totals that I plan on betting this coming week. In Part 1, we looked at 4 side bets. We took apart the New York Giants-Patriots game, the Green Bay Packers-Detroit Lions game, the Bills and Philadelphia, and Baltimore and the LA Chargers. If you want to know how to bet any one of those 4 games, please check out Part 1. Okay, let's get straight into Part 2. We're going right to an under. New Orleans and Atlanta. The total here is 42. And as I said, I'm looking to bet the under in this game. Let's start with the fact that neither of these teams are scoring juggernauts. Atlanta is in the bottom 10 in the league in scoring, averaging 19 points per game, while New Orleans isn't much better, averaging 21.4 points per game. Defensively, New Orleans is a top 10 unit in preventing points, while Atlanta is in the middle of the pack. More importantly, for the sake of this total, both these teams are struggling to pass the ball, averaging only 200 yards in the air a game, both teams sitting in the bottom 10. New Orleans is also 3-7 to the under in their last 10. They've gone under twice in a row. Atlanta is 4-6 to the under in their last 10. I also want to make mention that Desmond Ridder is supposed to be the starter for this Sunday, which does not bode well for overbettors, that's for sure. I don't think he's a very good quarterback. I think the stats prove it, and I think they continue to run an extremely conservative offense. Now, I grant you the Falcons have been scoring of late, but it's phony. In their last game against Arizona, they put up a grand total of 94 yards in the air. That's like Chicago Bears from last year numbers. They are a running team, period. They ran the ball 41 times last week for 184 yards. I don't think anything changes. We also have seen New Orleans score of late, but while that is against Jacksonville, Indy, Chicago, and Minnie, none of those have better defensive units than the Falcons. The total in this game is 42. That seems a bit high. I cannot see both teams getting to 20. I think 20-17 seems like a very reasonable score. We have 2 struggling offenses against 2 better than good defenses in a huge division game. I think both teams play to their identity. Both teams play conservatively, and this number ends up being too high. Take New Orleans and Atlanta under the total of 42. Now, guys, before we get into the next 3 games, I want to make mention that I have a promo code for you all to our new website, Wager Merch. It's wagermerch.com. The promo code is MERCH20. You get 20% off any of our merchandise, and you'll find shirts, hoodies, sweaters, sweatpants, yoga pants, hats, mugs, tumblers, playing cards, you name it, it's at that website. It includes all the logos for our top shows like Bet On It, The Hustle, Puck Time, Wager Talk Today. But more importantly, and where we're selling most of our stuff is in the slogans. I'm currently wearing a shirt that says, "Parlays are for losers." This is my favorite shirt that I've purchased. I love the color of it. We have lots of other slogans, including poker slogans as well, like Poker Dad, etc., etc. Check it out, guys. There's probably 30 different slogans up there, and you get 20% off of any order using the promo code WagerMerch. Also want to quickly mention I won again this past Sunday for my clients in the NFL. So make sure to be buying my client plays. Thank you, guys. We have an unbelievable promo up this week. It's our Thanksgiving week promo. It's $69 all access pass for 7 days. That's our most successful selling promo in history. We do it every year. It only happens for 1 week. $69 for 7 days, all access. Every sport, every play that a handicapper gives out. And that expires Friday. So make sure to take advantage of that. Okay, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. Where are we going here, guys? Under. That's pretty obvious. Who exactly is going to score in this game? Okay, yeah, Matt Canada was let go this morning. Who cares? Okay, sure, this is a low total. I get it. 34 and a half, but 17-14 is 31 points, and that still gets us an under. But more importantly, you need to score 4 touchdowns to get a 17-14 score. I cannot see 4 touchdowns being scored in this football game. Let's start with the D. Pitt is a very good D who has allowed an average of 19.5 yards per game, sitting at 7th in the league. Now, I grant you they struggle to stop the pass, but who on Cincinnati is exactly going to pass the ball? Cincy also struggles to stop the pass. Who on Pittsburgh is going to pass the ball? Here we have the 5th worst offense in football in Pittsburgh, averaging under 17 points per game. While Cincy is not much better, they're averaging only 20 points per game, and most of those games included a guy named Joe Macaulay Culkin Burrow. He ain't in that anymore. Now, he's doing Home Alone 4. So, we move on. I think this game plays out similar to the Pittsburgh game from last week against Cleveland. I think both teams will struggle to score. I think both teams will, at the most, get 1 touchdown each. I think both teams will play hard, aggressive defense. I think both teams will be very, very conservative. I think there'll be a lot of running. I think there'll be more field goals and touchdowns. And I wouldn't be surprised if we had the exact same 13-10 ending. I know Cincinnati has been scoring of late. But again, Macaulay Culkin ain't playing this week. Some dude named Browning is playing. He's going to be abused by this Pittsburgh pass rush. Since he ain't getting anywhere near 17 points in this game. So why not take Pittsburgh? Because I don't think they're going to get 17 either. Why bother with the side when you got a great bet on the total? Let's take Cincy and Pittsburgh under 34 and a half. Next game we're looking at is Jacksonville at Houston. Total here has been bet up to 48. It was 46 and a half on Monday. I'm taping this show on Tuesday. It is now 48. We took the over in Houston last week for our clients and lost it. But it was 100% the right call, and I just couldn't put a handicap to all those turnovers in the red zone. If you get rid of the lame duck performance by Jacksonville against San Fran 2 weeks ago, this Jacksonville team has put up 34, 20, 31, 37, 25, and 23 points in the last 7 games. Those are pretty big numbers, and they did it against some really good defenses, including Buffalo, New Orleans, and Pittsburgh. When you look at the Texans, this is a team that could have put up well into the 30s against Arizona, except for their stupid turnovers. Before that, they scored 30 and 39. CJ has the most completions over 20 yards than any quarterback in the league. And they have been throwing long bombs all year. Houston averages 24 points per game, while Jacksonville averages 23 points per game. That is 47 combined. Why is this total not higher? Is it because they think these averages were against terrible D units and that both these teams have better D units than, say, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, New Orleans, Cincinnati, Tampa Bay, Atlanta? The answer is, I don't know why the hell this number is so low, and neither of these teams have better defenses than any of those teams I mentioned. The weakness for both these teams is stopping the pass. Well, that's good for an over. That's for sure. Jacksonville has the 5th worst D in the league in stopping the pass, and Houston also is in the bottom 10. Now think about that again, and remember they played teams like Pittsburgh, juggernaut in the air, Tampa Bay, world's best throwing team, New Orleans, throwing. Dan Marino's jealous of New Orleans' passing game, and Atlanta Falcons. They are the best passing team in history of the league. So even playing those 4 passing juggernauts, sarcasm alert, They still are in the bottom 10 in the league in stopping the pass. Well, now they're actually playing teams that can pass the ball. Houston has the second most yards in the air in the entire league, and Jacksonville is in the middle of the pack in this category. I think we see a game that ends well into the 50s. A reasonable score to this game, at worst, is 28-24. I think the number is 3 points short. We're going to take advantage of that. It should be 51. We're betting Jacksonville and Houston over the total of 48. Last game on the tap, one you'll all be able to guess. Cleveland going into Denver. Take a minute and tell me whether you think this game is going to go over or under. What could it be? Yeah, right. Like the Pittsburgh game, I don't know where the points are going to come from in this game. Since Denver got half their defense back from injury, they have had one of the best D units in the entire league. They have allowed 20, 22, 9, 17, and 19 points in their last 5 games. And that was against teams like Buffalo and Kansas City twice. I'm going out on a limb here, guys. I don't think the Browns can score as many points as Kansas City and Buffalo. I really don't. The Browns are now led by DTR, who threw the ball 43 times on Sunday. You would think that would equate to about 300 yards. Nope. 165 yards and 0 TDs. What, did he throw the ball to the center? The guy was... Did he hand it off with the running back in front of him? How do you throw the ball 43 times and come away with 165 yards? The bottom line here is I don't think this DTR-led offense will put up more than 17 points. And frankly, 17 points is a big ask. It's more like 13 points. As for the Denver, I understand they have put up 21, 24, and 24 points in the last 3 games. But none of that was against this Browns D. And all 3 of those games saw them struggle most of the game and then get some late miracle catch touchdowns. In the 10 games this Cleveland team has played this year, 4 of them saw them allowing 10 points or less. That's insane. 3 of those games were 3 points or less. Think about that for a second. 30% of the games they played this year, they did not allow more than 1 single field goal. Outside of a few miracle passes here and there by Denver, this offense is a total mess. They're going to struggle against the Browns. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this game ended 3-2, 6-3. Okay, 13-10. Either way, no one is getting 4 touchdowns in this game combined. There's going to be no touchdowns scored in this game. Okay, there might be 2. But man, in order to go over 35.5, you need 4 touchdowns and 3 field goals? How? How is that going to happen? Take Cleveland and Denver under the total. That's it for the show, guys. 4 totals. Make sure to take advantage of that promo code, WagerMerch20. Awesome site. It's worth taking a peruse through for a couple of minutes. If you're watching this show, you're obviously a bettor. If you're a bettor, you probably think you know how to play poker. It's likely you don't, but at least you think you do. So check the poker section out. Check the sports betting section out. Use that promo code MERCH20. Guys, I wish you a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope the ball bounces in the direction you need. I hope your wife takes care of you. I hope your husband does the same. I hope your kids are a pleasure. Your dog doesn't bark and the food is great. Lots of love, everyone. We'll see you next week, week 13.